go to the crib, fell down and I bumped my head. Somebody helped me up and I bumped my head. I said, yeah. Then he said, oh, you going to switch it on him. I said, yeah, flip mode. Flip mode is the greatest. You know, and as a shorty, I was always told that if I ain't going to be part of the greatest, I got to be the greatest myself. Come on, yeah, come on. Yeah, nigga, what a surprise. Be something nigga told over your eyes. All my niggas getting money capitalized. Die, little small guy, we on the rise. Everything a nigga touch, flat, the minds full of your bricks. You know we coming on supplies. Got a big gun and I'ma show you the size. If you be coming through, stroking you out. Killing off any and everything you're talking about. See you in the club, now we walking you out. Shit is going twice for you when they open your mouth. Yo, anyway, we stay keeping it moving. Fucking with the wrong nigga, hope you know what you're doing. Now blame me, all the same niggas is lame. Another game, nigga name still putting your brain. That niggas had enough, give me some more. That niggas want around shit, give me some more. Yo, Spliff, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that, give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. Put the cars in the big crate, give me some more. Everybody spread love, give me some more. If you want to let me hear you say, give me some more. Flash with a rash, give me my cash, look at my ass. Running with my money, so go out with a blast. Do what you want, a nigga, in the corner, you fucking up the order, go ahead and leave the reporter. Yo, she telling them to how you sexual bitch. Little fake funny style, nigga, shit with a stench. Shit never best, you don't got nothing to ask you. Niggas lose for me, you know my niggas the pass through. Cartier, City 48, away shit. Go with all my niggas from around the way shit. When I come through, your niggas know I do my thing, bring more shit to generate money. Cha-ching, arrest you, lyrically, flow will caress you. Bless you, then the nigga come to your rescue. Why you assuming nigga lost on the blue? I'm coming soon, hit you with the boom, give me some room. Y'all niggas had enough, give me some more. Y'all niggas want some wild shit. Give me some more. Hey, Split, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. Cars in the big crib, give me some more. Everybody's red love, give me some more. If you want to let me hear you say it, give me some more. Yo, live nigga shit, know what I mean? That represent why we getting money and reign to pray. But the niggas don't be coming through full stage. Can't see me, better turn on your high beam. All my niggas while I'm bringing a siren. Flip home, with niggas on my team. Never should you ever try to fuck with my brain, my OG. Run my shit get over the bloodstream. Every time we be ripping and be blowing it down, blowing you off, fucking with the hottest niggas around. Fuckers for me and my people, want to get down, holding it down, taking the wild nigga, give me my crown. Hey, all my people need to come and surround, and nigga be hitting so much to make you fall on the ground. Show them make you shot the front of your around, trying to get out, making all of you niggas fall out. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Hey, Split, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. With the cars in the big crib, give me some more. Everybody spread love, give me some more. If you want to let me see the say, give me some more.
What up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. You know, that was the warm up. Lately, I've just been playing music that I grew up listening to. So that's a old Busta Rhymes, an old Busta Rhymes classic. I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, that's right. It's Busta Rhymes. Yeah, Busta Rhymes is actually one of the first rappers I started listening to. I think when I started listening to rap, uh, Biggie had just died not long before that. I remember I was like getting into his music and I didn't even know he was dead. Hey, what up, Boxing Jedi? UGC Flame, Chin Smoke, Plant Based Boxing, The Boxing Lounge. I think I got everybody, but welcome everybody to uh to this episode of RG Huck. So just a couple of random things I want to talk about. So the first thing maybe isn't so random, being that, Canelo just fought this past weekend. I think I talked enough about, my thoughts on that whole situation. You could check out my last couple lives if you really want to know how I feel. Um, but I kind of want to talk about uh, Teofimo Lopez. And a lot of y'all probably already know where I'm going with this. um, I think I mentioned 1-2 Kid. If I didn't, what up 1-2 Kid? Lebanon Hebrew, I see you there. I also see Bruce Goes. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Teofimo Lopez. Yeah, he Like he's kind of a, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to use clout chaser. I don't want to use parasite, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about him. But yeah, for those of you who may not know, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows this, but in case you didn't, um, apparently I think it was at the Canelo fight after he won, um, Teofimo Lopez showed up there with his belts, which I thought was kind of weird. I saw Electro Jed uh, criticizing him for that. I'm not saying that his criticisms isn't valid because I find it strange. Like, there's no need to bring your belts, but I don't think it's completely like, I would say it's somewhat frowned upon. It's not something that you really should do, but I don't think it. I also don't think it really warrants like a shit ton of energy either. But yeah, I think it's weird. Like, you know, it's almost like if you're a female and you show up to a wedding wearing a white dress, a white wedding dress. it's, it's just very strange. Um, but anyways, so they take the pictures with Canelo and then Teofimo Senior, Lopez Senior. He is that really his name? By the way, I hear a lot of people call him Senior, but I don't even know that that's his name. I'm assuming it is, but I never officially. Maybe I should Google that. But anyways, we're just gonna call him Teofimo Lopez Senior, whether that is what he is or not. But he tells Canelo, "But my son did it first." Oh man. So I don't give a damn what Mauricio Suleiman says. Your son hasn't done it yet. All right. Your son has not become undisputed. There's a dispute. In order for him to be undisputed, there is one fight that he can take. Now, I do know that there's been talks that that fight is going to happen now, and if it does, then and Tio beats Haney, if that were to happen, then yes, he would become undisputed at that point. But Canelo still did it first. Just saying. And I mean, I don't even like Canelo, but I'm just gonna call it what it is. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Canelo did it first. He did it before your son. All right, your son came close. Here's the thing. All right, to me, it just seems like, all right, this is supposed to be Canelo's night. Keep in mind, I don't like Canelo, but I mean, it's like I said before. I'm over here sounding like Floyd Mayweather. It's like I said before. I'm not going to be calling for undisputed, and then when somebody becomes undisputed, I'm gonna write it off. To me, that's hypocritical. So he gets his credit. But if a guy is not truly undisputed, I'm not going to give him credit for it. Teofimo is not truly undisputed at this point. There is a dispute. Yeah, yeah. I caught some of it, and for anybody who's interested, Boxing Jedi, he covered this yesterday. So if you want to check his out, definitely go check out. I think he did. It was a live, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I wanted to jump on your live last night, but uh, I was kind of busy with some stuff, so I was just listening in, and then I went to bed because I had to work today. So, but anyways, back to this whole situation. But yeah, like Canelo was the one in there throwing hands. Why do you got to show up trying to make shit all about you? To me, that's a really scumbag thing to do. Now, granted, if you're gonna do it to somebody, I guess Canelo would be the one to do it to. Being that Canelo, he's kind of a, an asshole. But to my recollection, Canelo's never showed up to somebody else's fight with his belts, talking about his accomplishments. Um, Not to my recollection. If he has, please somebody let me know. But as far as I know, that's never happened. Um, so even in Canelo's case, I can't even really say that he truly deserves it. He deserves it to an extent just because of some of the bullshit he's done in the past, but he's never done that. What you did. How about this, Tio? If you want a night where you're celebrated, why don't you have another fucking fight? It's been over a year since you beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko is about to have his second fight since y'all fought. Next month, if I'm not mistaken, Lomachenko's supposed to fight Kome. So you get to step in a ring once. So I don't know. It's Tio. I gave Tio a lot of credit when he beat Lomachenko, but the way that he has carried himself since becoming, becoming the man at 135. He may not be undisputed, but I'll give him that much. He is the man at 135. But ever since ever since he became the man at 135, he's acted more like the bitch at 135. I'm keeping it real, you know, crying about how people won't give him credit for being undisputed. It's because you're not. Not doing what is required to actually become undisputed. Like, if you really want an accolade, don't you think you should go out and just get the accolade instead of trying to convince us just to give it to you? And then he pulls this, him and his dad pull this shit. This is all diva behavior, and it's not how the man of the division should be acting. So I'm gonna move on from that topic because that's all I gotta say, really, in regards to Teofimo and his father's actions. Let me make sure that my chat is still working because that shit happened to me yesterday. Hold on, y'all bear with me. I just want to check, make sure. Okay, I think we're good for now. All right. So next thing I want to talk about, something I don't see a whole lot of people talking about, and not that I really think it's the most exciting thing to talk about. I'm gonna talk about it anyways. What up, Ness Mendoza? Um, I want to talk a little bit about Oscar Rivas. Um, for those who may not know, Oscar Rivas actually had a fight a couple weeks ago, sometime last month. I'm gonna definitely check out that specific part. Um, but I mean, I'll probably just check out the whole live, but definitely gonna look out for that part specifically. But Oscar Rivas, a couple weeks ago, he had a fight at the new Bridgerweight, which it's been a while since I spoke on my thoughts on Bridgerweight. So just in case you're new to my channel, I thought I thought and still think Bridgerweight. I almost call it Bridgerweight. Bridgerweight, I think is stupid. Um, Now as of right now, the only sanctioned body I know of that is actually sanctioning fights at Bridgerweight is the WBC. Not very surprised. They're the ones who created the weight class, actually. I mean, another weight class, another sanctioning fee, right? And if it's successful and they get more boxers interested in that weight class, then that means they can start doing the bullshit that they do in other weight classes, having like 5 fucking belts. Just WBC alone, having 5 fucking belts in one weight class. Um, the diamond and the chupacabra belt, whatever bullshit they want to come up with. It's another sanctioning fee. for Mauricio Suleiman to collect on. Um, I just want to say this though, and I'm, well, first off, shout out to Cuba because they have two champions right now that I'm aware of, Ugas and Rivas. Obviously, Ugas um is magnified way more because of who he beat, Manny Pacquiao. I forget the name of the guy that Oscar Rivas beat. First off, it took forever for that fight to even happen. I remember hearing about Oscar Rivas gonna be in like the first Bridgerweight fight or whatever a long ass time ago, and this fight just recently, not that long ago, it happened. But hear me out. Right now, the WBC is the only sanctioning body that is sanctioning fights at Bridgerweight. So technically, wouldn't Oscar Rivas technically be considered undisputed? There are no other belts at that weight class. It is just the WBC Bridgerweight title. So am I wrong in saying that Oscar Rivas is another is a undisputed champion as well? Do we technically have two, no, three, because we got Josh Taylor, Canelo Alvarez, and I would say technically Oscar Rivas would be um undisputed. Yeah, because it seems like they make a belt for any little reason. They had that Juneteenth belt back in June. They do the Machismo, Aztec, Mayan. I'm surprised they didn't come up with a jack-o'-lantern belt for the month of October. But you're so Ness. I'm getting y'all's. Wait, are you saying no? Hell no, I'm not wrong for saying that, or hell no, he's not undisputed. See, here's the thing. I could definitely understand why people wouldn't want to give him that accolade because one, he beat a guy that is, like I said, I don't remember the guy's name, but he beat him. Um, they're probably the only two boxers at Bridgerweight currently. um, it's a brand new division. I could definitely understand why people wouldn't want to give him that accolade, but I'm just saying, technically, because he's the only champion at Bridgerweight, he would be undisputed. Oh, you agree? Okay. Yeah, the Emerald Belt. I remember that. The Emerald Belt. Yeah, there's too many damn belts. All right. I see a lot of people talking about Floyd that he said that there's too many belts in boxing. And yeah, I agree with Floyd Mayweather. My only thing is this: where was this energy from Floyd when he was benefiting from all from these excessive belts? Because when he was active, he I don't remember him ever saying shit about there being too many belts. It's not until now where he's retired, and it does look like he is finally like retired for because there's always been this idea that he might come back, he might come back. I haven't been one of those people because I didn't want him to come back. Uh, because when he's in boxing, everybody in or around whatever division he's fighting in becomes stagnant. Um, because they're all holding out for that Mayweather payday. So I really was just hoping that he was retired. And yeah, he's had some exhibitions and other shit, but I don't think we're really going to hear too much hope of him coming out of retirement just because of some recent things he said and just his attitude ever since fighting Logan Paul in their exhibition. Um, it doesn't look like he's really Floyd the TV like Canelo, but yeah, it does look like he's like any hopes that anybody, not myself, but any hopes that anybody had for him coming out of retirement look like are pretty much done and over with. What up, actual facts? Hope you're doing well today. I guess this is completely unrelated, but I saw that actual facts posted something about like the birth of the Marines. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you posted. So happy birthday, Marines! I guess. I'm only saying I guess because right now I'm not 100% sure it was the Marine. I want to say it is, but just on the off chance that I'm wrong, that's why I said I guess. But and I'm 100% in support of our military because they do, they risk their lives. They there's a lot of sacrifices that they have to make regardless of whatever benefits they get, because I know, there's the signing bonuses and all that stuff. Regardless of all that, like, there's no amount of money that you could put on your life, you know. Um, and let's keep it real. Like, how many of us have seen a Vietnam vet out on the street begging for 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 spare change, you know? So I support our military. I Here's what I say, you don't have to be supportive of why they're fighting specific wars or whatever, but you have to at least, in my opinion, you should at least respect their dedication to our country at the very least. So, yeah, Marine Corps birthday today since 1775. Hoorah! But yeah, yeah. So let me get back to the boxing stuff. But I saw actual facts, and it reminded me of the post I saw him put up earlier. So yeah, like, last thing I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna reiterate: don't have to agree with everything that the military does, but the individuals, they've made a decision to enlist in the military to put their lives on the line for this country. Now, they're being sent over there for reasons you don't agree with. A lot of times it has to do with the commander in chief. So it's not them who are making those decisions. And a lot of them are in the military already when those decisions are made. So, um, yeah. So back to the boxing though. So what was I? Oh yeah, but I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. Technically, Oscar Rivas is undisputed at Bridgerweight, because there's no other champions there to challenge him. But like I said, I don't blame anybody who doesn't want to give him that accolade simply because, like, how some people, they talk about, oh, it's a so and so. I don't give them I don't give them any props because it's a weak division. Well, I guess you could say that Bridgerweight is the weakest division in all of boxing, and that's just because it's brand new. So, regardless on where you stand on the matter, whether you would say he's undisputed or not, I can't really argue with it either way. Because, like I said, there is no other belt, so technically he would be undisputed. But then again, as far as I know, at least, there's only two guys in the division. So yeah. Let me see if there's any other boxing news or any other random boxing shit. That's really all I had, but let me just take a look. I don't have all the same resources on my tablet, but let me see what I can find. Just in case there's something that I want to talk about. If not, then I'll just end it. But let's see. Moment. Oh yeah. Here's another thing. It's not what I just saw, but something I saw just reminded me of this. Apparently, Tyson Fury is leaving crazy ass voice messages for Jake Paul, saying shit like "Tommy's coming for you, Jakey boy," and I guess he like played one of the voicemail. According to him, he's getting like a bunch of voicemails from Tyson Fury, and and he played. Apparently, he played one of them on Instagram. Um, I should look it up because I'm really interested to hear. But yeah, apparently Tyson Fury is acting like a madman, and it's to be expected. I mean, even if I never hear a single one of these voicemails, even with the little faith in anything that Jake Paul has to say, I actually believe this 100% because it's Tyson Fury we're talking about. Yeah, Floyd has hair plugs now. Yeah, Floyd was looking kind of rough, you know. Uh, when he got his hat snatched, he was looking kind of rough. I remember seeing those pictures of him, people holding him back. I'm like, that's Floyd. I thought it was like I thought somebody like photoshopped him to look older, but no, that was him. Take a look here. Oh yeah, but for those of you who are interested, Tyson Fury has been harassing Jake Paul. It just sounds funny. I guess Fury is. Where is he going to get a title shot at? Hold on. So is he hoping to fight Usyk? Is that what's going on? Because he ain't gonna fight Tyson. That's just not gonna happen. Ryan Garcia's putting the 135-pound division on notice. Um, Ryan Garcia needs to get his ass in. He's not putting nothing on notice when he's not fighting nobody. Like, remember when Canelo told Andre, "You fight nobody." Well, that's really what Ryan Garcia, like Ryan Garcia is literally fighting nobody. I believe that. Tyson Fury said if Tommy don't win, he can't come back home. Yeah, Ryan Garcia. It's funny because you said Ryan who, all right, and I read that headline. Ryan Garcia puts 135-pound division on notice. I I read that and I had to really think hard. Who is Ryan Garcia again? Like not even joking. Like legit. I had to think real hard to remember who Ryan Garcia is. And that's simply because I'm a I'm a straight cis male. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of tweeny girls who you say Ryan Garcia and they know exactly who you're talking about. But because this guy hasn't fought in, in, since early this year, like I think it was like January was the last time he had a fight. All right. The most you hear about this guy is when he makes a fight and then he backs out of the fight. So I don't know how he's putting the 135-pound division on notice. And this is a headline from a day ago. 1 day ago. All right. If this was like months ago, I could say, all right, it's been a little while, but he's made noise. But yeah, it's been we're coming in on a year. What's with like Lopez? It's been over a year since he fought, but he has to somehow be in the limelight for some reason. Ryan Garcia is the same way. Difference is Lopez actually beat Lomachenko, whereas what's Ryan Garcia's best win? Campbell. Which big shout out to Luke Campbell. If I'm not mistaken, he actually retired earlier this year. He wasn't even like old, but he I guess he felt like he didn't have love for the game anymore, and that's respectable. If this ain't something you love to do, you can't play boxing. So don't do it for the wrong reasons. Of course, a lot of stuff about Canelo, talking about the scorecards. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't give the shit. I don't give a shit about scorecards when the fight ends in a knockout. I really don't. Like I mean, I guess it gives you a little something to talk about. And I guess with Canelo, I used to look at him because of the just to see how one-sided it is, like how bullshit it is. But I mean, how many scorecards you have to look at before you realize that Canelo scorecards are going to be corrupt? They're going to be. Like, is water wet? Yes. Well, so are Canelo scorecards. But I mean, it doesn't really matter when he won by knockout. If I'm being honest. What up, Rascalot? Hope you're doing well today. My brother in the MLBC. So it looks like everybody's like wondering what is Canelo's next fight gonna be. No telling what Canelo. No telling what Canelo will do. Although I will say this, I find it funny that when Canelo, for those, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows this, but anybody who may be like a newer boxing fan or wasn't paying attention back then or whatever, all right, Canelo beat Cotto at a catchweight for the middleweight title. I actually didn't have a problem with that because Cotto, for one, wasn't a big middleweight, and two, I think he was fighting at catchweights already. He was already fighting below 160 pounds. So I didn't have so much of a problem with that catchweight. I thought it was bullshit, but I thought it was um, bullshit that at least had some kind of logic to it. I mean, the main bullshit was that it's for a title at 160 pounds. Why aren't both these guys fighting at that weight limit? But hey, Cotto's already fighting at below 160. I didn't really have a problem with that catch weight because Canelo, that was back when Canelo was like on his whole 155-pound range. Um, So, anyways, he beats him for the middleweight title, right? And then Triple G, who had two of the other belts, he wanted his shot to get the WBC title. And I remember specifically, I see a lot of people they're like, oh, why don't you like Canelo? Why don't you like Canelo? This is one of those reasons. Canelo was like, I'm not a middleweight. Okay. So what does Canelo do? He vacates the WBC title. So then the WBC just gives it to Triple G. And then he moves up to fight fucking Chavez Jr. at a catchweight of like 164 pounds or some shit like that. And it's like, okay, you said you're not a middleweight, but now you're fighting at above middleweight. So fast forward a couple years, he's fighting fucking uh he's fighting some light heavyweights and shit. Yeah, I understand he fought Triple G eventually, but his whole thing was he wasn't a middleweight, but he's jumped up all the way up to 175 pounds since then and has gone back down. And it's, to me, it just that that's a big reason why I don't like Canelo. But it's like I said, I still got to give him credit for at least becoming undisputed. So, hey, what up, the Quags? Ryan Garcia, the type that takes a peek at the guy next to him. That was funny. I appreciate that, Rascal. I really do. Oh, what up, Eat a Peach? But yeah, I mean, a lot of people just like, why don't you like Canelo? First off, they find out I'm Mexican and then they automatically think I'm supposed to like Canelo. And I'm sorry, but that's just stupidity. I'm not gonna follow a guy just because he just so happens to be the same ethnicity. That's stupid. Like, you know how many like murderers and psychos that Mexicans and Puerto Ricans have in their past? Well, they have just as many as any other race, as any other ethnicity. Because that's not something that is genetic. That's something that, I mean, I guess it could be a little bit genetic if it's like a chemical imbalance and that runs in the family, but it has nothing to do with their race. Like, there's rapists, murderers, and other shit that I'm not going to say in every race. So, why the fuck am I going to follow somebody just because they just so happen to be Mexican and I'm part Mexican? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stupid. It's very dumb. Like, you gotta have higher standards than skin color and ethnicity. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, those are extremely low standards. I like to think that I have standards that are higher. Take a look here. Trying to see if there's anything else. Reggie Ortiz says he's ready for Terrence Crawford. Hey, make the fight. Make the fight. And we'll see if you're ready or not. Looking forward to the fight later on this month, by the way. Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter. And I'm with a lot. I'm with a lot of other people that I listen to. I think Terrence Crawford is going to be the first to stop Sean Porter. Now, there's a good chance that he doesn't, but that he still beats him. Um, I'm seeing a lot of people hoping that Sean Porter wins that fight, just because they can't stand, just because they have hate for, for Terrence Crawford. It, like, I'm not saying I hope Sean Porter loses. May the best man win. If Sean Porter goes in there and he proves me wrong, I want his hand to get raised. All right, I don't want to see any man get robbed in there. But like you could tell when somebody like legit feels that Sean Porter's gonna win, and when somebody is just hoping he's gonna, you can see it. Does does Andre have a fight? Seeing they had a media day. Let's see. Jake Paul apparently is taunting Tommy Fury, which is to be expected. Jake Paul, he's a degenerate. And I mean, even guys who are not degenerate will do that, but he's a degenerate, so it's pretty much expected that he's gonna do it. I mean, this guy's willing to show up to the face-off with a Mickey Mouse purse just just to troll his opponent. So I'm Puerto Rican from the projects, like Berlanga. I'm supposed to have his face tattooed on my chest. Yeah, it's dumb. Like to me, it doesn't make any sense why you would blindly follow anybody just because of their skin color or where their background or whatever. That's funny. Yeah, and I agree. Plant-based boxing, like I also respect Canelo more today than I have in the past. But I haven't forgot about the shit that he pulled. What up, Mark? Crawford will be the guy to finally stop Porter. Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. Yeah, but yeah, I have seen. I have. I forget who it was, but I was watching somebody's live, and this person and everybody on their panel. I don't remember who it is, and to be honest, even if I did, I wouldn't say it. Um, but they were just going on and on about um how, how Porter was gonna beat the shit out of Crawford. Um, and I know why they were doing it, and it's not just because they don't like Terrence Crawford and they're wishing and a hoping. A big part of it was the day after Wilder had lost to Fury in the third fight. So to help ease the pain, they're there trying to convince themselves that Porter's going to beat Crawford. And like I said, there are people who legitimately think that he's going to beat him. And I'm not going to slander people for like their legit prediction. Because even if the prediction sounds ridiculous, um there's always that chance. You know, we've had some upsets this year. But there's you there's certain key words that you can hear. When you hear them, you know, all right, this person, there's still, let me just give this disclaimer. There's still a chance that they think that Porter's going to beat them. There's always that's still a possibility. But there's always key words that tell you that a lot of times they're just hoping. So, but they may find themselves with that same feeling they had the night that the night that Fury beat Wilder the second time. So take a look here. Porter's gonna have an extra overbite. Oh, what up, Remy? God bless you. Damn, I'd love to see Triple G versus Canelo fight part 3. I don't think so. We'll risk the fight though. To be honest, I don't think Triple G can beat Canelo at this point. I think his best chance of beating Canelo was when he was trying to make the fight initially. I do think he got robbed in that first fight. I don't think he got robbed in that second fight. He let Canelo get away with way too much. And to be honest, even without taking in consideration that they're gonna have the judges are gonna give every excuse to give around to Canelo. Taking that out unbiasedly, I couldn't be mad with either guy winning or a draw. Triple G simply did not do enough for me to say that he definitively won that second fight. I think he won the first one and got robbed. I think the second one could have went either way. So that's my thoughts on the two fights that happened this far. I think having a third fight, he's older. He's even older now, and Canelo, I think, has gotten better since then. So I think Canelo would beat Triple G quite decisively this time. Like the first time he robbed him, second time could have went either way. I think he would definitively beat Triple G in a third fight. But he doesn't seem all that interested in it. If it happens, I wouldn't absolutely hate it, but it's not really a fight that I'm clamoring for any longer. There was a time where I was I was really pushing for that fight, and that was before they fought the first time. So when Crawford beats Porter, Spence is gonna retire because his eye is. If Crawford loses, Spence will fight Lipinets. Oh wow! Hey, how's it going, Electro Jed? Mentioned you a little bit earlier. Y'all go check out Electro Jed. He's been doing boxing content lately. He also I know he covers a lot of like comic book movies and comic books in general. Oh, what did you ask me something? I said what up, Mark. If you asked me something, I apologize. I didn't see it, but I did say hi to you. I would never ignore you. Not purposely, but just in case you didn't hear me. Yeah, what up, Mark? I hope you're doing well. Um oh yeah, but yeah, check out Electro Jed. Um I know recently yeah, no problems. No problems, Mark. But I know like recently he did like a review. I didn't get to watch it. Or let me take that back. I could have watched it. I chose not to watch it because I was planning on watching the movie, and I did last night, The Eternals. Now, I will say this, I'm seeing a lot of people saying they didn't like it. I actually liked The Eternals. I actually thought it was enjoyable. Um, is it perfect? Nah, it's not perfect, but I do think that it's enjoyable. Um, Mind you, I'm one of those people who like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 a lot more than I like Volume 1 or the first one, which I didn't dislike the first one. I just liked the second one way more. And that's because I'm really into comedy. And I think they dialed the comedy from the first to the second one a lot. Um, but for the people who don't like a whole lot of comedy in their Marvel movies. I think I think this I think this reaches more of that balance because I forget the guy's name. The one from The Big Sick. He also did a movie with Batista where he was a cab driver for Batista or something like that. I forget his name, but he was pretty damn funny in the movie. But I noticed that they kind of spread out his parts, and they did, and it did seem like as funny as he was, um, he didn't like go full force. So, but I got to go and check Electro Jed's video because I know he did a review about it, and but I enjoyed it. Definitely saw a plot hole here and there, but overall, like my thing is this: if I had fun, I consider it a good movie. Only my only real gripe, aside from there being a couple plot holes, was the movie is a bit too long. Like we went our show time started at 7:20. Now just subtract like 10-15 minutes for previews. The movie didn't end until a couple minutes after 10. So that's pretty much like a 2.5 hour movie. And to be honest, as good as the movie was, there's definitely some stuff they could have cut out to make the movie shorter. Because I would have much rather had left it earlier. Like to me, less is more is not always more. Like sometimes less can be more, and this was definitely the case with the Eternals. Give me a moment. I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. All right, I'm back. But yeah, 2 hours and 30 minute runtime is too much. Yeah. Did you see it by the way, Rasclot? My wife liked it until something happened to her boy. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, Electro Jed. Yeah, there's a character that it seems like it's mostly women that have been taking to this particular character, and it's not like he's like the epitome of like what most women feel is a handsome man. He was just, I could see he was like a lovable character. Something happens to him, and I think that may be who you're talking about. You didn't like it. Hey, and I get it. It's just my opinion. Like I don't try to convince people why they should like the movies I like. Yeah, it's a long movie though. If you haven't seen it, it is a long one. I will say this: it to me it wasn't boring. See, when it's a long movie but it's boring, then I don't like it. Um, I didn't particularly care for Dune because that was also a long movie, but there really wasn't a whole lot going on as far as action. And then like all the people that I see in the trailer, they're barely in the movie. Like these actors that I'm like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna say who they are, but there's two actors that I'm like, okay, I've never seen them in anything before. Like together, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. And then I watch Dune, and I'm like, okay, these guys were barely in the movie, and they didn't even interact with each other. But I'm giving Dune benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna watch the second one in hopes that it's not as boring as the first. The first one, I'm sorry. If you like Dune, that's perfectly fine. But I found it to be really boring. Like it was really long, really slow. You've seen 2 hour movies with 300 words spoken? Damn. Oh, so you didn't like Dune either? Yeah, and Dune is getting a lot of praise. Like if you go on YouTube, you'll be hard pressed to find any positive or negative reviews about Dune. I am seeing plenty of negative reviews about the Eternals. And if you didn't like the movie, you didn't like the movie. That's perfectly fine. But me personally, it's not anything special. I'll say that. But I still enjoyed it, and those especially one. That's good. This doesn't spoil anything, so I'm gonna talk about it because it legitimately made me laugh out loud. Is I was mentioning that guy from The Big Sick, which I've never seen The Big Sick. I just know he's in that. Um, I can't really remember a whole lot of stuff he's in. First thing I ever saw him in was The Twilight Zone. Uh, for those of you who don't know, Jordan Peele, he he's doing The Twilight Zone right now, and the first episode of the first season is actually on YouTube, or at least it was when they were promoting the show. I don't know if they've taken it down since then, but if they haven't, if you don't know who I'm talking about, you can look up that episode. The full episode was on YouTube at one point, and as far as I know, it still is. But he was in that episode. Um, but I know he's done like other movies here and there. But there was a scene where he's arguing with one of his fellow Eternals, and his character is like like he's become like a Bollywood star. So um, like I said, he's like arguing one of his fellow Eternals, and the guy's like, "Oh, the movie star," like he's mocking him. And he's like, "Oh, I've directed some stuff too." He's like, "Oh yeah, like what?" He's like, "Well, mostly stuff on YouTube." He's like, "How many views?" He's like, "I don't do it for the views." He's sounding like some of us on YouTube. So yeah, but that was I just thought that was pretty funny. His parts, like it's funny because if you watch the trailer, he looks completely serious. And I will say this, I think they did a good job with the trailer because remember back in the 90s and the early 2000s, you would see a trailer for a movie and there'd be all this action. Then you watch the movie and that was all the action. They did a good job of showing a lot of the action in the movie with there being plenty of action to still be seen. They didn't they didn't blow their load in the trailers. Um, so they did do a good job with that. Spitnik is sick. I think I've heard you mention that. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of people who didn't like Dune. On Rival, he said it's 10 out of 10. So he enjoyed it. Oh, Sputnik. Yeah, I remember hearing you mention that movie once before. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Um I'm not always necessarily looking for the next Citizen Kane or the next, you know, what's Casablanca. I'm not looking for the next modern day classic. Um, so if I have a good time, that's good enough for me a lot of times. Like I said, my biggest gripe is the runtime. Because with every movie, there's usually gonna be at least one plot hole, and there's always a certain level of suspension of disbelief that you have to go into movies with. I mean, some movie classics have, you have to. It's all surrounded by suspension of disbelief. Come on, Home Alone 1 and 2. Like I love those movies, but come on, I don't think that would ever happen. Ever. Even if a kid has extremely high IQ, I don't think you'd be able to pull that off, just because there's other factors. There's the suspension of disbelief that you have when you're watching that movie, and that's or those movies, and that's with just about any movie out there. Even the biopics, they change so much about what actually happened. You still have to watch those movies with suspension of disbelief. What's subtitled? Sputnik? Is that subtitled? Electro Jed, are you talking about Dune has a lot of exposition? And I never seen the 1984 one. Um that's what I'm saying. Like I'm noticing a lot of people who saw the 1984 one are really liking this one. That's why I give it benefit of the doubt, because it's like, okay, apparently something is gonna happen. Something is gonna happen that is really gonna bring this movie to, so I'm just like, you know what, I will give it benefit of the doubt, so I will watch the second one. But yeah, I did not really care for the first one, just because of, oh man, me and my girlfriend, we sat there and we're like, this is just going incredibly slow. So, and then a little something here and there would happen, and it would get a little bit exciting. And I will say the actors, all of them, did a really good job. um Josh Brolin, man, he his presence when he's on screen is just ridiculously good. Like you really feel his cynical energy every time he's on screen. Uh, so I will say that, like, as far as the acting is concerned, it is top notch. Like I can't even complain about. That's one thing I cannot complain about. All my complaints just have to do with how slow the movie was. And then thinking back on those trailers, and I'm just like, these people are barely in the movie. So, anyways, my lunch has just started, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I thank each and every one of y'all for stopping by. Um, I promise if you just showed up, I did talk about boxing for a good while before I got into the movies and all that. But yeah, y'all take it easy. Y'all be safe. Peace.